Now to the Middle East where Brits are among the first civilians who've finally been able to leave the Gaza Strip. More than 400 people were allowed through the Rafah crossing and into Egypt, including foreign nationals and some injured Palestinians. Thousands of others were left waiting at the border. It follows Israel's bombing of the Jabalia refugee camp, which has left at least 50 dead. The strikes have been denounced by several states, with the UN saying they could amount to a war crime. With me now is the former IDF soldier and founder of the organisation Israel Is, which promotes Israel internationally, Eyal Biram. Nice to see you again, Eyal.
Thank you very much.
Just on that first point that I mentioned there, I mean, nothing is going to, and we've said this many times, nothing can overshadow those terror attacks by Hamas. We all understand that. But is it ever defensible to bomb a refugee camp?
I think it's good to call it not a refugee camp, but rather than a terror camp. What's supposed to be right now empty for any civilians after the IDF called for more than 2 weeks for every civilian to evacuate. Most of them did, 750,000. We understand that Hamas didn't get the permission for many of them to live and stop people on the way. And that's, of course, the main war crime that Hamas is doing, in addition for kidnapping kids, babies, women, and more. And what started as a horrible and horrific terror attack could be ended very soon, and we should say it. Hamas can release the hostages tonight, and we will be able to focus on the terrorists and try to eliminate the civic society in Gaza, which, of course, this is part of their target. And we just saw the political bureau head of Hamas speaking today in the media and saying, if we just had an opportunity, we'll do it again and again, and speak about October 7th horrific attacks.
What is the conversation, though, that would happen? The IDF would be considering, so there is a camp, or, you know, it is a Hamas hub masquerading as a camp, but we know there are certainly civilians there. And Hamas, the argument goes, will have placed them there deliberately or made no attempt to remove them from this area. However, what calculations do Israel make at a time like that? If there were 1,000 people there, would a bomb still be dropped? There must be a point when it's seen as, well, we just can't do that. Mm-hmm. Is it a numbers game? What is that calculation?
This calculation is, of course, part of the understanding of what is the goal. The IDF is targeting the Hamas terrorists, while, of course, Hamas is targeting the Israeli cities, shooting again and again, everyday rockets. And we as an Israelis took very personally, not just Israelis who've been killed in this war, also the Palestinian one. We do understand that they are not the target of this operation. After speaking in the last few days with my friends who are both pilot combats and also as part of the intelligence forces, they told me how routinely they calculate how many civilians are in any area that could be affected by an airstrike, while also understanding who are the target on the other side. And speaking about the attack on the Jabalia Terror Center, which was mostly an underground tunnel center, we understand that the commander who was sitting there and was hiding behind the building with civilians, which of course are not the target of this attack, but unfortunately been thrown to be there, he was part of the planners and the executor of October 7 massacre. So understanding who are the targets is, of course, the main question, by also calculating what is the collateral damage that is not part of the goal.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of those that have died, we know that people now on both sides of this war have died, and many thousands in Gaza, some young children as well. And homes destroyed. Obviously, the might of Israel is greater in that respect. And I think we all understand that what Israel are trying to do is to target a terror group. Everybody knows that. However, with so many people dying, what does the end look like here?
The end will take time. As I started here, I think there is a way solving and bringing the end soon. I saw many people speaking about ceasefire and calling for ceasefire. I'm also looking on the civilians on the other side and understand that they are standing similar for the Israelis right now. We have about 750,000 Gazans who've been taken from their home, while we have 500,000 Israelis who've been taken from their home. And both of them right now in a very complicated situation. Understanding how can we solve it, and as a person that wish for peace and work day to day for peace building, I hope that it will happen soon. But I do understand that as Hamas still held more than 230 Israelis in captivity. And of course, by continuing shooting rockets on Israeli cities, it will not be soon. And it could be solved, and I hope that the IDF will be able to finish this war as fast as they can, but we do understand it can take weeks and also months.
Sure.
And that's part of the complexity of this specific war.
Indeed. I mean, you say months. I mean, some people say this would go on for years. You are more confident that it would be less than that this is something that could happen in months.
I hope, and of course, the larger question is how Iran will affect other proxies in the region to join. We saw the Houthis, the Yemenite proxy, attacking Israel in the last few days, and also the American forces. We understand that it can happen also in the north, and Hezbollah already continuously have a day fight with Israel. And it can escalate for a regional. Also, we saw a threat by Yemen today threatening to invade Egypt. We understand that this is not just a war between Israel and the Palestinians, and I hope that people understand it when they hear our interview, that we do not wish to harm any Palestinian on the other side. But this is, of course, a question of how Iran would like to push their proxies, and it can happen to be also a threat for the UK. Not just the extremists who are speaking about attacking Jews and Britain here in the UK, but also how it can affect the entire region. And the Middle East is, of course, very close and important for the UK.
Eyal, good to see you again.
Thank you very much
for coming in. Eyal Biram with us here.